in your party and the decision-making process, and how you actually reach them, because not everybody is that much acquainted with the use of social media and the smaller programs, and if there are some ideas how to get to them, how to talk to them, and especially how to get them into the decision-making process in your party. Thank you.
Well, my question goes in the same direction. I want to ask about liquid feedback. What does it need to participate in opinion finding? Do you have to be a member? Do you have some kind of card on I am a member? And what does it mean to become a member? Do you have to be Italian? Do you have to live in Italy? Or who can participate? Can I possibly join, for example? And
from green side, not double membership.
Well, yeah, that's not the point. I wanted to make an example. And the second question I wanted to just shortly state that the German Green Party is not only the Greens, but also Alliance 90. I don't know if you know it yet. It's kind of history of citizen movement. And so I don't know if it's only if enough time, a few words about the Italian Greens. What happened to them?
Italian Greens? Okay, and I put myself on the list, and still the floor is open to female voices. I have one suggestion that I wanted to make for a follow-up to this evening, and I wonder if you would be interested, if others would be interested. After everything that you said about the public goods that are very important to you, and I also read a lot about public transport. We are a party of bicycle drivers, bus users, and train users, and a lot of other projects, and where I see a lot of commonalities. I wonder if in this press media situation where you are still outsiders, anti-European, very doubtful, if it would be interesting to sit together as the two groups and present a list of common key projects where we all, or the majority, however online or real life meetings, we can find that, but where at least the majority agrees that such common key projects are indeed available, and also on the European political matters, like for example this taxation pact. That would be a very interesting thing to me, that we could publish in Italian, German, whatever, especially if it's much shorter than everything that I try to distribute in some numbers, so that people get a feeling for how pro-European you are and how much there is a potential for Italy to indeed contribute a lot to a change in Europe that we as Greens are also seeking a lot. Why I personally hope very much that you decide to run for a European Parliament and in the end join the Green Party group, but that's definitely for much later. And the elections are only next year. Part of that list from my side would be a project that is terribly complicated to explain, so definitely nothing for tonight, but an answer to your question about paying the same interest that we as Greens defend here, where we have not only fans here, but what we find very fair, that is the debt redemption fund, der Altschuldentilgungsfonds. It's a sexy idea in the political sphere because it's supported by conservative economists as well, not just Greens, which are not necessarily considered to be most responsible, although we are. And so the idea is to pool the debt, to give it out to the markets as Eurobonds with a common guarantee, but to do in return limit the amount of additional debt that you can do, which means that you can't print the euros just as you need them, also like fix a certain number of taxes for just the task of reducing this debt over time. So you promise you will pay it back, and in return you get lower interest. Germany would have a little higher interest, Italy a much lower interest. So that is a very concrete project where I would love if that comes on such a common list of projects. Yes, the last question I dropped, and the question I would have at the very end to everybody of you. We have like 10 more minutes that are of the time that we reserve for this meeting. Then we would, by schedule, we would be done. So the question of mine would be if there is interest, because I have the feeling a lot of people came here with the expectation to talk with each other, and it's not been possible to the fullest extent. So my suggestion, and I would love to have a vote on that, would be after a short answer on the questions, instead of directly ending, for everybody who is interested, we could do 3-4 groups here in the room, which are, if possible, half-half, Movimento 5 Stelle and Greens, and have a time of like 10 or 15 minutes where you can sit together and agree on a list of as many projects as you can agree on, and then we can assemble that lists that come up from your groups, and we can have a basis for such a common paper where we can put all those projects together. Be it the public water that we talked about, or be it public transport, or be it the Altschuldigungsfonds, or many other things. I think it's perhaps fair to give you a moment of thinking about that idea, and I promise I would cut it so short that nobody of you will die of hunger or thirst or something. You can think about it. We have like 5-10 minutes answers, and then we make a vote if we directly end, and of course everybody is free to leave, or if we do like small working groups for another 20 minutes, including the collection. Okay, the two of you answers, and then we come to vote.
So the first question was, how can people that are not in connection with the internet and get in contact with the people that are sitting in the parliament? I just came back on one of the slides we had before. So how we meet each other, and I told about the meetup. Meetups are not so only in the internet as you have seen before. We made a picture, but we are just a little group. But there are groups where, for instance, in big city like Naples or cities like this, there are more than 2,000 members in the meetup that are meeting frequently, so at least once per month. So that means you are not forced to use internet to get in contact with the others. And what the elected now in the parliament are doing, and this is also planned, to make this meeting together with the elected in the parliament. So really get in contact with the people that are now sitting in the parliament. So whenever there is a need or question, these are directly communicated to the people now responsible in the parliament. So we cannot tell about only a question of if you are connected to the internet, you are part of the community of the movement. It's not this. It's okay? Or it was from you, yes?
Yes, and the decision-making process, like you said, they show the internet and the videos on YouTube, and the candidates get elected, so...
Yeah, because every elected, after every seat in the parliament, so every day, at the end of the day, they are resuming what they did without publishing a video in the YouTube. So you are always aware about what they did in the last day. So what they voted, because also the meeting between the group, the parliament group, is also published with video in streaming. So you can also on direct view you can see what they are deciding, what they are discussing. The second one was the liquid feedback, I think, for how this kind of decision. So up to now, the only platform we had before officially in the movement was the blog of Beppe Grillo. And inside this blog, there are also a part called forum, a forum discussion, where everybody that, of course, are making subscription in the blog can post a comment or a proposal in this forum. And the rule before the election was that reaching the 20% of consent from the other member of the forum, this proposal became official for the movement. And this is how we produced our program. So talking about Beppe Grillo. Beppe Grillo didn't force to put on the program any kind of this. So this was directly coming from the people in the meetup.
Who can subscribe? Everyone? Or just
Sorry?
Who can subscribe to this blog?
Yeah, now we follow on with the blog of Grillo, but nevertheless there are new decisions to be taken for the future. And for this, they are building the platform in the new website of the movement. So we will have movimento5stelle.it, where connected to the liquid feedback platform, all the proposals should be submitted with votes by the people, and of course people that are member of the Movimento 5 Stelle. And differently from the traditional parties, you became member giving your identity card. This is digitized, and you send to the staff, and then you are certified, and not we had in the past members of other parties that were died. Just subscribe with the name, and that's it. Name and date of birth. That's it.
Italians only?
Up to now, yes, of course, because you are the one who are taking the decision on the Italian part. But nevertheless, in the forum, everybody can take part. The other thing was about the Green Party. What's the question? The Green Party in Italy actually is not anymore existing. It was just a name till the last election in 2008. Then they disappeared. Now, I would say many of the fans of the one who were part of the Green Party are now in the movement